it's Tina from Move with Courage Careers, and I'm here to talk to you today about why having a career vision matters. I'm doing this connected to my writing in this blog, which you see here, and I'll use it as kind of a visual. So you will also notice in the description I have a free journal. I encourage you to download that because it goes into some of these sections in more details, and it also offers a coupon for my vision board workshop. But the truth is that creating a vision of your career might seem a bit annoying, especially if maybe you don't want to think about your job after 5 o'clock, but it is something that can ignite your career and give you a direction. And, we think about our careers in different ways through time. Maybe when we're younger and we start out, we see it as our first step to adulthood, our first real career. Maybe it's a fresh start whenever we're able to change, or an opportunity to explore new possibilities, maybe. Can even be a place to shine if you're lucky. Sometimes when you're in the same position for a while, it does start to seem like your identity, and hopefully not for you, it can also feel like a trap. We always talk about fulfilling careers, and nobody really completely knows how to define that. I think that it is the way that we can connect our career to our own human need for purpose. And that need for purpose changes as we change too. When we go through retirement, we still need to feel that purpose, but it'll look different now that we don't have a career, right? So taking the time and the space now to really devote your energy and your focus to your career vision can help you through all these different phases. I really think about every 10 years we have sort of a new iteration of ourselves. So when you think about a career vision, it can mean many things for you. I am really lucky because I work with some amazing clients. They're high achievers, they're heart-led people, and they have incredible visions. It also happens sometimes when they come to me that they are so bogged down with commitments and they have busy schedules and they're doing so much for other people that they don't often have a moment to reflect on their own life and their own selves, And once they do, that is where everything really changes for them. So I do notice that once, a successful careerist crafts their career vision, it is sort of made up these 5 main pillars. So the first one is your desire. What do you want in your career, in your life? Why do you want those things? To do what? That right there might take you a couple months to answer. I know for some people that's really hard to answer. What do you want? Because they're so used to thinking about and considering the needs of other people. The second one, your value. What is important in your career, in your life, to you, and why? What matters to you? It's going to look different, right, for you than other people. But that's what makes you you, is having those values. Number 3, your strengths. What brings you strengths in your career, at life? And how do you feel strengthened? And I think this is really an important distinction to say what brings you strength rather than where am I strong? Because that's more the passive way to think about it. Usually it involves other people giving their opinion on where you're strong. But if you think about what brings you strength, those are those pieces that truly light you up, and they're the clues to where you would really excel and shine and be happy. So pay attention to that idea, where you see it, those pieces that bring you strength. Number 4, your destiny. It's kind of a dramatic word, but where do you want to go in your career and in your life? When do you want to do it? And now this is getting into the details, making sort of a plan. When do you want to do what? 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? And the most detailed of all, number 5, your strategy. How will you get there? And how will you know? I do think this is usually the order that these pieces are discovered, especially 4 and 5 are last. But some people do put them first and say, well, I can't even bother with a vision because I don't even know how I would get there. So they kind of put the cart before the horse. But if you deeply look at these 5 pillars and take time to journal them on your own and extrapolate them and make them deeper and more valuable to do, you will really have a good start on creating your career vision. Also, I encourage you to download my free journal, which goes into all 5 of these in greater length. So, the 5 ways that building a career vision ignites your career. I think the biggest one is it helps you get out of a rut. It helps you avoid being stuck. And stuckness happens for many reasons. I think about the stories we tell ourselves when we are stuck, and the stories some of my clients relay to me when they come to me. So one is something I see in the giving profession, so people in healthcare, teachers, healers. They might say to themselves, my clients, my patients, my students, they need me. They will be lost without me. And so they stay. If you are somebody and you're worried about uncertainty and you prefer safety, you might tell yourself, if I make sure nothing changes, I will be safe. If you're worried about that you cannot expand your capabilities, that you cannot learn, maybe that you'll make a mistake. I hope you're not in a situation where mistakes are punished, but sadly that is a case. Maybe you think nobody else will hire me. I can't even, improve this. Those are little things we tell ourselves, not really to be mean to ourselves, but mostly to keep us safe, to keep us avoiding risk, because change does seem risky. Another one I hear quite often from people my own age that come to me for career coaching is, I haven't interviewed in ages. My resume looks like it's from the 90s. I don't know where to start. This feels overwhelming. If that's you, give me a call. We'll sort it out. But anyway, all of these stories, they keep us safe. They keep us away from change and risk. They also keep us stuck and stagnant. And I would also say unprepared for when change happens, because that's the scary pill to swallow, is that change always happens, right? We are human, we're organic, and the world is too. So change, it always happens. But whenever you start to define your career vision, you really are able to take hold of these choices in some way and remind yourself that there are places where you do have a choice. And so then that brings us to the second one, my favorite one. Whenever you create your career vision, you reclaim your leadership. So that feeling of stuckness, that feeling that you cannot do anything, really starts to erode your empowerment. So reminding yourself of those actionable places where you still can decide that it's your life, it's your career, you're the one that, suffers the consequences for all of your actions, and you're the one that's living it. So having that reminder to yourself that you do have a choice, you can decide, it is based on what matters to you, that really helps for leadership. And when I think of leadership, your inner leader, to me, this is your inner visionary. And, a lot of times when they talk about compensation for CEOs, they'll say, well, the CEOs deserve all of their salary because they have the vision for the company. And that's truly the hard part, to be so creative and future focused that they have a vision. And that is what you need to tap into yourself. Because having a vision, it also includes the confidence that other things are possible. So tap into that piece of yourself, your inner leader, your inner CEO, because all of those pieces are going to just strengthen your leadership. And number 3, I mentioned a bit earlier, but to prepare for your future. And I've had several clients that I just, dearly appreciated because they were very, very loyal employees, and they always showed up, they always followed company policy, and they were so loyal. Their LinkedIn profiles only talked about their company. And unfortunately, as it is with a lot of companies, that loyalty wasn't reciprocated. So when they got to that 15, 17, 20-year mark, unfortunately, they were laid off. And when they came to me, it was a shock on so many levels, but the first level was they never wanted to leave. That wasn't in their vision. So it was kind of like a 20-year marriage eroding, and now they have to date again. So those pieces of building your vision, I think it's important to do as often as you can, because we need always to prepare for the future, and not always in a scary way defensively for layoffs, but even to continue your own growth forward, right? To continue your own vision and enactment of your leadership, so that when you do get in that interview, you have an answer for, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Another piece, I think, is managing your daily stressors. When you can zoom out and remind yourself, all right, listen, this is why I'm going to all this trouble. This is why I'm doing this in the way that I am. That will really help you to connect in with your purpose, and it's very grounding. Another thing that helps with is it really, of course, puts things into perspective, but you can see these challenges as maybe just little lily pads that you have to overcome to get to the place that you ultimately would like to be. So the other piece I think is really important and rewarding is when you have a solid career vision, it's so much easier to make decisions. I see this played out in my life in many different ways. The idea of having values or, boundaries or parameters makes decision making so much easier. So if you have a vision in your head and there's a situation on your desk where you have to decide, and maybe you're someone like me that you like to look at all sides of the equation, you're a very gray area kind of thinker. Well, if you have parameters, you can say, for example, A, this choice supports my career vision, therefore we're doing it. Or C, this choice does not support my career vision, we're not doing it. Or maybe B, I'm not quite sure if it supports or detracts. I need to look closer, I need to reassess. And so that's really going to save you time. And it's also going to give you another way that you can connect back into your vision, because sometimes we make decisions based on what other people might think. Will this upset someone? Will this cause them trouble? But really, ultimately, it is your career. It is your life. And the pathway to a fulfilling and purposeful life is having your hands in it, helping you to feel like you are the leader, the driver of your life, and that if something does come up that is hard to handle, that you are capable to do the steps needed to change it. So I hope that encourages you to look again at your career vision. I have, of course, a couple pieces in there that might give you some structure along the way. As you move forward, you might have some resistance about even looking into this, because I understand it can feel a little bit crunchy, maybe is the right word, to think about your goals, because then we feel bound to them. Sometimes you can just work these things out in the back of your mind and forget them, and they come back out in surprising ways. So I invite you to download my 10-minute career vision journal, which you see here. You'll also get my newsletter and email resources, and it will come with a $5 coupon for my vision board workshop, which goes into this in great detail, and you do create visuals for each piece of your vision, and that comes with a 5-day email guide. So either way, as you travel along, don't forget to hold the hand of your inner leader. Remember that you have more value and more strength than you might see. And if you have any questions, reach out and have a great day.